Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Race Spec Esports Season 6 of F1. We are in round 6, round 8 at Singapore tonight with the Pacific Series Tier 3 competition. So as we wait for the drivers to get out on track, let's just run you through where we are at the moment. So obviously I wasn't here for commentating last week, so I apologize for there being no stream. I was not feeling very well. Feeling much better this week. So last week's race results saw us have Deputy Dilldog winning the race and taking the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Snickersbud managed to finish second, so it was a 1-2 for the McLarens, and Snickersbud managed to pick up the fastest lap as well, which meant that he's also jumped up into second place in the championship. With Basil on tour not starting last week and getting a DNF the week before, has now dropped to third in the ranks. Artie Cheng had a decent fourth place the week before last and ninth place last week. Sitting in fourth, Stoby, who had a DNS the week before and a DNF last week. Now sitting in P5. Honest Crook, with a 5th place finish last week, has now pushed his way up to P6. Clarence, a DNF and a P13 dropped him off the pace a little bit in P7. CN Goat just steadily collecting points, now up to P8. Powersight last week after a podium finish the week before. Last week a 10th place finish holds him in P9, and Delayed Laid with a top 4 finish last week is in 10th place. So at the top we've got a gap of 19 points between the two McLarens. Then it's an 18 point difference to Basil on tour, who's in third, and then we've got a 24 point gap back to Artie Cheng's in P4. From there down to P10 it's pretty close. So Stoby's on 78 in P5, and then we go down to Delayed Laid in P10, who's on 60. So it's only 18 points separating the rest of the top 10 from the top 4. From the top 5. So it's all pretty close. As for the constructors' standings, with their double 1-2 or the 1-2 finish last week, McLaren have solidified their position in the lead of the championship on 269 points, with Haas still holding on to second place on 161. Ferrari in third on 126. Close battle for 4th and 5th between Alfa Romeo and Williams. There's only a point separating the two teams. They are 16 points, 17 points adrift from Ferrari in third, so they're not out of the running to get a top 3 finish in the league this season, but we'll remain to see what happens for the rest of the season. So we've got 15 drivers out on the track tonight, and it looks like no Basil again. I'm going to assume football training is causing him to be late again this week, or he's not able to race. I haven't looked to see who was able to race and who wasn't. So let's get some information up on the screen so we can see what's going on. Everybody's on the soft tyres. Currently hold up man Dan appears to be on a flyer, so we'll just ride on board with him. Very tricky section going under the bridge there. Very, very easy to bang a wall and lose a wing. That is the biggest risk around the Singapore circuit, is the ability to actually quite easily bin it. So hold up man set a 1:37.4, which is a fairly competitive time to start with. I expect to see times probably in the 1:36s by the end, as we've got yellow flags. I'm assuming that's just cars getting out of the way. So Adi Cheng's in P2 at the moment, Stoby in P3, but these aren't overly competitive times. I would expect these times to improve. Similarly for El Tonki there on a 1:42.36, but it looks like El Tonki's probably gonna... No, I don't think he's going to go again, because he doesn't have any fuel on board. Alright, Glorious Noodle is on an outlap. Let's have a look. CN Goat has invalidated. Asher's going into the pits, or coming out the pits. AO this is on an invalid lap. Snickers Bud's on an outlap. Delayed Lade's in the pits. Power Sight is on an invalid lap. It is incredibly easy to invalidate here, without a shadow of a doubt. Very, very easy. So let's try and see if somebody's coming close to anyone. It looks like... So Glorious Noodle's still on his outlap. So I think Glorious... Oops, as AO this has a bit of an issue, as does Glorious Noodle coming up onto AO this. So let's ride on board with Glorious Noodle and see what sort of time can be put in. Oh dear, he's put it into the wall. Oh no. So that's obviously Glorious Noodle's qualifying over. Very easy to do. Lose the back end there as Snickers Bud comes through, I think, for the start of his flying lap, and is already invalidated. Let's see, Delayed Lade is on an outlap. Deputy Dill Dog's coming around the final couple of corners. So we're right on board with Deputy Dill Dog. Obviously getting the win last week will be full of confidence going into this week, but as we know, Singapore can present some significant challenges to the drivers. It'll be interesting to see whether or not there's any rain. It's very hard to tell with the night race, you know, what the clouds are doing. We'll see if we can find out from the Discord if there is any chance of rain. Alright, coming into the final sector. Very hard corner to get right. The right-hander after the straight there in the DRS zone. Also, this section here, you can take quite a lot of curb on the inside of the corner onto the short straight there. Careful through the bridge section, because it is very easy to lose a wing, as we saw with AO this earlier. And you don't want to ruin your lap there on the final corner by running wide, as Deputy Dill Dog sets down the marker with a 1:37.0. Alright, let's have a look, see who else is on a flyer at the moment. Not on a flyer. Asher's on a flyer, maybe? No, not on a flyer. Stobie's on an outlap. Let's have a look, see where people are. Seeing Goat's on an outlap. Lade is on a flyer now. So let's see what Lade can do. Very careful through this section. So we'll see whether or not this is a competitive time. Careful not to invalidate through the final corner there, and a 1:37.3 puts him into P2. Alright, let's have a look. She's coming back in. Alright, Stobie is on a flyer now. So right on board with Stobie. Stobie will be looking for a better result this week than what he's been getting in recent weeks. Early on did look like he was in with a chance of challenging for the title. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not he's able to show us what he's made of here in Singapore to put him back in contention for the championship. Also, this going across the bridge there, that exit off of the corner onto the bridge, if you get that curbing wrong, you are going to spin the car into the wall. I've seen that many times. It's never ends very well as a general rule, because it is a bit of a choke point as well, so you end up with cars crashing into cars and it becomes a bit of a mess. So we come through the final couple of corners, very cautious there, trying to make sure that it doesn't invalidate the lap. Throws it into the final corner a little bit, and 1:34.4 puts him into P4. As Hold Up Man Dan is just also set, I think, a time to put him into P3 maybe, or is he just going again now? We'll find out from his Sector 1 time when he gets there. He's 1.5 tenths up. So I'd say this is a flyer that he's on. Maybe gone for one, backed off, gone for another, put a bit of extra fuel in the car to have a couple of goes at it. We'll see what the Sector 2 time looks like when he comes around. There's cars up ahead, going slowly, assuming they're looking to get out of the way. There's Sector 2 flags as I missed him coming through to Sector 2 there, so I don't know how much up Hold Up Man Dan is on his time. So I missed that. Let's see what he gets coming across the line. And it's a 1:37.2, so he does improve. Not enough to go into P2 though, which Artie Chang's has, by the looks of it, just taken. Stobie was up there a second ago. Let's see what Artie Chang's... No, he's coming into the pits. Alright, power side. Certainly not a fast lap. Now he's coming back in. Alright, Mike Wazowski 77, formerly known as Nozasedin. We'll see, as invalidated. Has invalidated this, and yeah, so that's not going very well. Let's have a look. Asher is up by 2 and a bit tenths in Sector 2, so yeah, sorry, in Sector 1. So we'll see what Oh no, oh dear, oh dear. Like I said, that corner can catch you out. If you catch that curbing wrong on the inside, you will hit the wall and you will take damage. I think that's probably Asher coming back to the pits now. Seeing Goats out on the medium tyres. I'm going to assume coming back in. Tonki's coming back in. AO this coming back in. Snickersbud coming back in. And F1 Boy I don't think's actually been out on track yet at all, but is looking to come out now. No. Maybe not. So we've got cars coming in. They're leaving it very late to get a final run in. So, are we going to get any final running here? From anyone? Is anybody coming out? Seeing Goat's still out there. Doesn't look like he's trying to set a better time. Clarence is coming out. Very tricky pit exit, this one. It kind of, the exit throws you into the path of cars that are already out on track, which is, you know, problematic to say the least. So Clarence on an outlap, and it looks like Seeing Goat has binned it. Just, where are we? Yep, final couple of corners, he's managed to bin it. Cutting the corners there, which he really shouldn't be doing. Alright, so Clarence is going to be the lead car out on the track, so let's ride on board with Clarence. He'll be the first one to come across the line, I think, to set a time. Power sight's gone off track there. Where is Stoby? Oh no, maybe Stoby might be the first one to come across the line actually. So we'll ride on board with Stoby as he starts his final flying lap. We'll be looking for roughly a 5/10 improvement here to be able to put it on pole. It's quite close to the wall there on the call it the bend in the track. Another tricky corner here. You get that right, it's all good. If you get it wrong, you're going to go into that wall. Particularly challenging in the wet. Make sure that he does alright here going into the, gets that quite okay there. Bit of traffic on the track. He comes down the back straight with the DRS zone. Can't get to a full speed coming down that straight before you kind of go into the braking, so you kind of don't even hit top gear. He overcooks it slightly into the corner there, has to back out of it slightly. We'll see whether or not that's had a huge impact on his time, but can he get into the 130? Oh, he's taken provisional pole. Let's have a look, see what Clarence is going to do. He's 6/10 up on his previous time, which is not a massive improvement, but let's see whether or not he can improve some more to improve his starting position. And he does improve by 7/10, but it doesn't improve by a lot. Alright, let's go. All these guys didn't make it around. Deputy Dilldog didn't make it around. Audi Chengs didn't make it around. Delayed Lades clearly not going to make it around. Mike Mikowski's coming around to have a another crack, but that's not going to be an improvement at all. And Delayed got disqualified for going the wrong way. Bit of a game glitch there, I think. So, Stoby putting in a good recovery drive there in qualifying this week to put himself on pole position by a bit over 4/100ths. I think it was Adi Cheng's, was it, in P2? It disappeared off the screen before I could look at it. Deputy Dilldog in P2, Adi Cheng's in P3, 2/10 further back. Hold Up Man Dan in P4, a bit over 2/10 back as well. Clarence, good qualifying for Clarence there in P5. Powersight in P6. Mike Wazowski in P7. Fair bit off the pace there, these guys, 7 and 9, nearly a second off the pace. Similarly with Asher, CN Goat and El Tonki, although CN Goat and El Tonki did set their fastest times on medium tyres. So I guess they're starting in the top 10 on medium tyres, and we had a bunch of drivers who did not set times at all. And obviously Glorious Noodle who actually binned it in the session. So it looks like we're going to have clear running. The weather looks fine apparently. While we wait for the game to get itself going. So this is, like I said, Stoby's chance to really get a good recovery drive in tonight. 25 points would not go astray. That'll certainly drive him back up the standings. Obviously not going to put him immediately into contention, but is going to lift his chances of being more in the conversation. Obviously Deputy Dilldog will be looking for a good start to get out ahead, I guess, early to solidify his position at the top of the table and try and break away early if at all possible to build a bit of a buffer to the cars behind, particularly given that we've got CN Goat and El Tonki starting on the medium tyres in the top 10. They are going to go long. Now, of course, safety cars can change everything. Singapore being the track that it is, we are undoubtedly going to see a safety car or more. Probably more likely more, although with 15 drivers on the grid, I guess it's a good chance that maybe there won't be as many safety cars. It tends to diminish the less drivers you have on the grid, and it also largely depends on where the car is as well. Let's get this all going. Full track map, got interval. So let's have a look. Interestingly, AO this and F1 Boy have both decided to go on the hard tyres. Certainly could go even longer into the race than the medium runners, and possibly, chuck on a set of softs at the end. The soft runners possibly going to have to 2-stop, maybe able to get away with the 1-stop. It is again also going to really depend on what happens with the safety car situation. It's not really the best view. Neither's that really. Well, we're going to have to go with that. We're going to obviously have our focus on Deputy Dilldog as we get started here, folks. So as we wait for the grid to form and the lights to come on. Oh, there we go. As we got a car doing something very weird there in the background. Okay, the lights are on. 5 lights. And we are racing in Singapore as Stobie gets a reasonable start. Deputy Dilldog's managing to hold on to second place. No. Artie Cheng's pushes him out, but Deputy Dilldog fights it back as it looks like everybody gets through the first few corners. There's lots of position changes happening further afield. Let's just ride on board with these guys out the front though. So we've got Deputy Dilldog, Stobie and Artie Cheng. So we've basically stayed as we started, with Hold Up Man down in 4th and Clarence in P5. Some changes further back as El Tonki seems to be dropping backwards. And Delayed Laid has recovered from last place to 11th now, as Stobie and Deputy Dilldog look to try and build a gap already to Artie Cheng's behind them. So Dilldog has a bit of a look there, but decides not yet. Let's just wait, see what happens. As there's some mess going on at the back here. El Tonki has had a bit of a spin. Not sure what he's doing there, and has been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. So not sure what happened there for El Tonki, but things certainly have not gone well. The question is now, is this going to bring out a safety car? As you can see, the pit stop strategy there, medium, medium, soft as being the preferred 2-stop strategy. Medium, hard can be the 1-stop. So no safety car. AO this has had to pit, so I'm going to assume the two Mercedes have come a cropper with each other, and that's what's resulted in the in El Tonki's spin. But I'm just not sure why El Tonki couldn't move. There's obviously something going on. Oh, as Deputy Dilldog has a bit of a loss of the back end there. That's allowed Artie Cheng's back in his DRS, and Stobie has managed to now break that 1 second gap, which is going to be important, out to 1.5 seconds now, as we get DRS on the start of the next lap. Whew. Alright, Hold Up Man Dan is right on Artie Cheng's tail there. Otherwise, further back afield, Power Sight, Michael Wazowski, Glorious Noodle in close contention there for P6. But this seems to be the battle at the moment, as Deputy Dilldog comes into the pits. I'm going to assume there was some damage there, as Artie Cheng's has retired. What's happened to Artie Cheng's? We do have a safety car. What happened to Artie Cheng's? Did he? Oh, he has. He's binned it coming out of the final corner. Deputy Dilldog could benefit from the safety car here. He's not going to be too far off the back of the pack, so we'll be able to get back around and join the back of the pack. Has sort of committed him to the 2-stop strategy though, because those mediums will not go to the end. So unfortunately for Stobie, his advantage that he just worked so hard to eke out is cruelly taken away from him. Tudor Adicheng's unfortunately binning it into the pit straight wall coming out of the final corner. It is very easy to do, significantly more easy to do in the wet, but is still easy to do in the dry. And so it was only a virtual safety car. It was only a virtual safety car. Okay, well that's good. That means Stobie's managed to hold his lead without impacting too much. What it's meant for the guys behind, they've all now managed to develop gaps between them. So our battle here at the moment really is between the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th place drivers, as Glorious Noodle is right on the tail of his teammate who comes into the pits. I can only assume there must be damage there as well. Let's just see what's the go with Mike. Why is he pitting on lap 4? Seems a very early pit for not damage. Yes, okay, so it has taken damage. Again, very easy to do around this track. Okay, so we got now Glorious Noodle with Asher, Snickersbud, Delayed Late and CN Goat in the battle for P5. As Asher runs wide, Snickersbud looks to get an overtake done, but is unable to pull it off. We'll have to bide his time and have another go at it a bit later. So unfortunate for Deputy Dilldog, taking that damage early has meant he's going to have to commit to the 2-stop strategy at a minimum. Again, allowing for any safety car shenanigans that might go on, as Snickersbud is still right on the tail of Asher, and Delayed Lade's right on his tail as well, and CN Goat is there behind saying, hey guys, don't forget about me, I'm here too. So it'll be interesting to see how we go when we get to the next DRS zone. These guys are very, very close to each other. Asher's almost within touching distance of Glorious Noodle, which he would have wanted to have gotten before the DRS zone, as Delayed Lade looks to go up the inside of Snickersbud and pulls off the overtake. So Delayed Lade from last up to 7th now, as we have another car going off. It looks like this has had another spin and will be making another trip to the pits. Alright, Powersight has caught up with Clarence. So this is for P3, as CN Goat picks up a penalty. The Deputy Dilldog is making his way back through the pack. Just got ahead of F1 Boy, who's still running those hard tyres from the start. So Powersight trying to stay within DRS, gets there. Again, this straight's not really long enough to really affect an overtake, particularly if the car ahead is deploying ERS, which it looks like Clarence was, but obviously with Powersight holding on to his ERS, Clarence is going to be at risk for an overtake in the not too distant future, although he does decide to go in and pit on lap 6 to obviously put on some fresh tyres. We'll see what he's going to put on. I assume they will be the mediums, and yes they are, as Asher also comes in to pit, and I assume we'll go on to the mediums. CN Goat is also pitting. but he's on mediums, so I'm assuming he's taken damage. Seems odd otherwise. Yes, he has. Alright, so there's really no battles out on track. Stobie's obviously just lapped AO this, who's just not abiding by race spec rules and is trying to lap himself, and is doing so by driving through the lead car. I fully expect that to be a report post-race. We'll see what happens there, but it's certainly not within the rules. You need to race the cars around you like they are cars around you. Although, that being said, Stobie's just gone and done it back to him. I don't think two wrongs make a right, but you know, who am I to say otherwise? As Stobie decides to go around for another tour on these soft tyres. He's got a well, I was going to say a reasonable gap to Hold Up Mandan, but Hold Up Mandan is just pitted, so he's going to come out on those medium tyres. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Deputy Dilldog. It looks like Hold Up Mandan is probably not going to come out ahead. No, Deputy Dilldog has managed to effect a bit of an undercut on the cars ahead. So let's just have a look at the tyre situation here, folks. So we've got Hold Up Mandan's just come out in fresh mediums. Deputy Dilldog's obviously done 3 laps on those. Snickers Bud is on the mediums as he started on them, and same with Delayed Late and Glorious Noodle. So we've got a bit of a battle here for between P2 and P3, between Delayed Late and Glorious Noodle. Delayed Late's looking feisty, as we have another yellow flag as one of the Aston Martins has a bit of a spin. I think it's Mike Wazowski, as Delayed Late goes for the overtake into the corner, outbrakes Glorious Noodle and moves into second place, and will be our default race leader once Stobie decides to come into the pits, which I can only imagine is going to be next lap. Alright, maybe next lap. So Snickers Bud's also in this conversation with these guys, who are running a bit later into the race with the medium tyres. Glorious Noodle's not got a lot of ERS, Snickers Bud's got a reasonable amount, and Delayed Late's not got a lot. So don't discount Snickers Bud here, being able to use his ERS advantage to get an overtake done on Glorious Noodle if Glorious Noodle drops out of DRS on Delayed Late, which he is not. So Stobie still trundling around the track, 7.8 gap lead. I suspect when he does actually come into pit and come out, he is probably going to end up behind Deputy Dilldog and Hold Up Mandan, possibly even Clarence. I think extending on those softs is probably not the smartest strategy call, because I think that has certainly, the undercut is certainly going to be quite big, as we can see from Deputy Dilldog's gains after he had to pit with the broken wing. He's now effectively in P4 once Stobie pits. So will Stobie come in this lap? Coming through the final couple of corners. Does he pit? No, he does not. He keeps going. Well, it would be really good to get the tyre data on the state of his tyres, as we have yet another spinner. Looks like AO this yet again, having another spin. Alright, going back to the probably the best battle on track here, which is the three-way battle for P2 at the moment. As Glorious Noodle is fighting valiantly to keep Snickers Bud behind him. Delayed Lade's also fighting valiantly to keep Glorious Noodle behind him. Who has a look? Glorious Noodle has a look. Thinks twice about it. No, I'm not going to get the overtake done there. Let's wait until we get to another section of the track where I can possibly get an overtake done, which will be the second DRS zone on the circuit. As they come over the bridge, the tricky section around the hairpin. Glorious Noodle a bit too far off and has a bit of a wiggle there. Is Snickers Bud gonna have a think about having a go? He does have a think about it, but is too far back. As we have AO this has binned it now, and we do have a safety car. I think this may have been what Stobie was hoping for. I fully expect now Stobie is going to come into the pits, put on those fresh medium tyres, and then I imagine, knowing what Stobie's done in other races, try and run those mediums to the end. It'll be 22 laps. It can be done, remembering that we'll probably have several laps under the safety car. As Delayed Lade picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Stobie manages to retain his P1 position as the medium runners all decide to come in and put some fresh mediums on as well. So they have fully committed to the two-stop strategy now, because they will have to they're going to have to come back in to run another compounder tyre. Snickers Bud has come out on the soft tyres, as the other cars ahead of him who were on the mediums or is Glorious Noodle not pitted? That's interesting, as Powersight has picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Oh dear. So what's going on with Glorious Noodle here? Did not pit, but is somehow behind Clarence. I'm wondering if that's because of the timing glitch there. I'm going to assume that Glorious Noodle did actually pit. Yes, he does have one stop. So the only car not to stop yet is F1 Boy, who started on the hard tyres, and that makes sense. If you're going to run the hard tyres, you want to run them for as long as possible. Avoid as many pit stops as possible to give yourself the best opportunity to score good points. So Hold Up Man Dan has actually taken the race lead, having pitted a couple of laps earlier. So I missed that, sorry, I didn't realise that Hold Up Man Dan had gone through. Stobie P2, Clarence in P3, is looking for a better outcome here, as Deputy Dilldog interestingly decided to pit, go onto the medium tyres again. Interesting choice, because he was in contention for a top 5 finish at the very least. You would fully expect there'll probably be another safety car, a virtual safety car, that he could have pitted under later. So interesting strategy choice. We'll see whether or not that one pays out further down the track, as Powersight's decided to pit, which seems a bit odd. I'm not sure why Powersight's decided to pit, because he's still got the drive-through penalty, because obviously they can't be served under the safety car. So it's a bit of an interesting one. Not sure why. Didn't look like he was having damage replaced or anything like that. He's just decided to come in and put some fresh medium tyres on. But was one of the ones I think that started on the medium tyres. So if hasn't run the mediums yet, softs yet, then he's going to have to pit again. So it would be interesting to see now what happens when we do get back to racing. Snickersbud, being the only car out there on the softest compound tyre, would expect him to be significantly quicker than the cars ahead, particularly somebody like Glorious Noodle, who's still showing his 10 laps. I'm not sure that's right. That doesn't make sense to me, but unless... No, well, did Glorious Noodle pit on lap 1? No, I don't think so. So I think there's a bit of a glitch there. I think that's not quite right. But certainly Clarence and Hold Up Man and Dan, who are on the few lap old mediums, Snickersbud will be looking to try and gain on these medium runners as quickly as he possibly can to get himself as far up as possible. And not sure what happened there, folks. We had a bit of a glitch there. Not sure what was going on. Alright, well, we're going to get back to racing momentarily as Hold Up Man Dan gets us restarted as we come through the final couple of corners. And Hold Up Man Dan goes. Before we get to the final corner, he gets the power down, looking to... Oh no, ooh, he's just kept it. He looked like he'd lost the back end there going through the final corner, but he did manage to hang on to it. Has already built a 1.2 second gap, which is not bad considering that he did have that wiggle out of the final corner. Stobie's going to come under pressure shortly. Delayed lay, like I said, on those softer compound tyre, is going to look to try and get the overtake done on Glorious Noodle as he looks to go side by side. That is not a corner you want to go side by side, as Glorious Noodle is also in the conversation, as is Snickersbud behind them. So this is a bit of a four-way battle here for P3 at the moment, as Delayed Late will be looking to line Clarence up for an overtake here down the straight if he can. No DRS yet, obviously. So as Glorious Noodle and Snickersbud are side by side, Snickersbud's still trying to keep his nose in there as they go. He's going to have the inside line, and he does get the overtake done. No, he doesn't. Glorious Noodle is still there. They are side by side. They are battling side by side, and Glorious Noodle manages to hold on to the position for the moment. Again, Snickersbud on those much faster soft tyres will be looking to take advantage now of the fact that Glorious Noodle does not have DRS on the cars ahead. Once DRS is re-enabled. So Snickersbud will hang with these guys, with Glorious Noodle for now. Obviously Asher has Asher's just dropped off the pace. Dildog's there trying to win places back, but up front, really this is the battle to watch at the moment. So as we come onto the bridge, Snickersbud's dropped off the back of Glorious Noodle a bit, which won't help him trying to get an overtake done, as Glorious Noodle's now back in as See and Goat has retired. We're right on board. We have another safety car. So let's see if we can come around, if Power Sight comes around quickly enough before the car disappears. We might be able to see what's happened to Sea and Goat. Looks like he has probably, it's gone now, I imagine has binned it coming onto the bridge. Probably taken that curbing like I've mentioned before, and that has resulted in a spin as Snickersbud decides to come back into the pits. He's going to drop those soft tyres and chuck on some mediums, and I imagine with the intent to go to the end. Oh, hard tyres. That is interesting. 16 laps, 17 laps. Pretty sure he probably could have put in even a used set of mediums on and still gotten to the end of the race. Hard tyres, they're going to be a lot slower. It'll be interesting to see whether or not, as they come around again, whether he decides to come back into the pits and put on another set of mediums and have another go. That will obviously lose him the positions to Power Sight and Mike Wazowski, but maybe the better outcome for his race, because those hard tyres, while they will go to the end, are going to be significantly slower than even a worn set of mediums. So, 2 safety cars and a virtual safety car I think we've had so far in this race. Like I said, Singapore, known for these phenomena because of the tight nature of the track and the ease at which it is to bin it. So will Snickersbud come back in and put the medium tyres on? So it doesn't look like safety cars coming in. So let's just see, what decision does Snickersbud make? Does he stay out? Or does he pit? And he is pitting. Yep, as predicted. We'll come in and we'll put on the medium tyres. So I'm assuming that was a mistake to come in and put the hard tyres on. Maybe didn't check his strategy before pitting. Unfortunately, once you get into the pit lane, you can't change the strategy. Alright, so race neutralized once more as we do another tour around the Singapore circuit at low speed. Riveting viewing, I am sure, for anybody who's watching, which I think at the moment is just one person, but I'm sure there'll be lots of people who will watch the stream later. So I assume safety car will come in this lap. The pack has all bunched back up. Snickersbud at the rear on a fresh set of medium tyres. So not even a worn set of mediums. He is on fresh mediums, which is obviously going to give him a bit of an advantage against these other cars, as the safety car is indeed coming in this lap. So Hold Up Man Dan will get us back to racing speed again shortly. I imagine these guys will be able to push these tyres to the end of the race. So I fully expect, unless there is another safety car, that we won't have any more pitters except for F1 Boy, who still needs to pit for fresh rubber. Can probably push those hard tyres, probably get another 10 laps out of them as Hold Up Man Down gets us back to racing speed. So Delayed Laid in P4 there with Glorious Noodle behind him. Snickers Bud already gets an overtake done on Mike Wazowski. For anyone who grew up watching Monsters Inc. would be quite familiar with the name Mike Wazowski. So, Deputy Dilldog, Snickers Bud's overtaken F1 Boy as well, so he's already starting to gain back positions. Deputy Dilldog having a look now at Asher. We'll look to see whether or not he can get the overtake done going onto the straight. He's right on his tailpipe. But without DRS, it's going to be a bit tricky. So he's going to have to wait until DRS is enabled on the next lap. I suspect it will be the next lap. So elsewhere, Delayed Laid is... Oh no, Stoby. Stoby has picked up a 3-second time penalty. That is going to severely impact on his final finishing position. As Snickers Bud has also got a penalty there. Let's have a look at what the penalty situation is. Oh no, Stoby has binned it. Stoby has binned it. Somehow hits the wall, but does not appear to have taken any damage. Now, it'll be interesting to see whether or not that is in fact what has happened. There is no visible damage that I can see, but surely hitting the wall with that kind of ferocity has to have done some level of damage to the car. Well, I was just talking about the impact of his penalty on his race, but I guess now that is a bit of a non-event. He is going to be hoping heavy and hard for yet another safety car to be back in this race. He's definitely taking damage. He's dropping off at a rapid rate of knots, but it's just not obvious damage on the stream. So I really do hope that Cody's fixed that for the 2022 game, that damage is a lot more obvious when it happens. Like I said, particularly for that kind of impact, I'm surprised that there's not more damage to the car than what we're seeing. So the question now, I guess, is going to be, what tyres does Stoby put on for the remainder of this race? If he's got a new set of softs, he can probably push those to the end at a stretch, but no, he's going on to mediums and is having that nose replaced, and we'll now be hoping for a safety car, as we now have a battle developing here between Delayed Laid and Clarence. Now, Delayed Laid's running with 8 seconds worth of penalties at the moment, so it's a question of what does Clarence want to do here. Does he want to just stick with Delayed Laid, knowing that well, I can hang here, and I can potentially get a P2 without having to win it on track. That being said, it's still on 11 lap old medium tyres. So will Clarence need to pit again? That is the question, as Asher appears to be battling with Deputy Dilldog. So we've got a bit of a battle here, as Powersight looks to put the squeeze on Deputy Dilldog, who is equally trying to put the squeeze on as well, and has won the position. Snickers Bud behind is looking to do the same and try and take that P6 position from Powersight, as Dilldog's already starting to build a gap, and Snickers Bud is trying his hardest. He's got the DRS open, but unfortunately so does Powersight have the DRS on Deputy Dilldog. So, do Hold Up Man Dan and Clarence need to pit again? And if they need to pit again, what does that mean for the outcome of the race? So if we go and have a look at pit stops, so it is showing that Hold Up Man Dan and Clarence have both pitted. They both would have started on the soft tyres, so they would have had to have pitted and come on to the medium tyres. So I do suspect they are going to have to stop again. I don't think they're going to be able to take those tyres for another, 12 laps. I think that's probably going to be asking a bit too much. That's 24 laps on the medium tyres. I think it's probably going to be asking a bit too much. I think they are going to have to pit again, so what they're going to be hoping for is for another safety car. As Deputy Dilldog is right on the tail of Glorious Noodle here and gets the overtake done going into turn 1. So Dilldog has fought his way back after the early issue, and is now in P4, and will be looking to get a march on the cars behind and gain on the cars ahead, as he's already starting to pull a gap to the cars behind, as Stoby picks up fastest laps. That'll be a good point for Stoby to gain, to, I guess, compensate for what's happened, as F1 Boy finally comes into pit and put on those medium tyres. Alright, Delayed Laid is right on Hold Up Man Dan's tail here now, as he's got DRS going down the straight, but not close enough to be able to get anything done, as they're both running very low ERS. So just right back here on board, as Mike Wazowski is looking to get the move done on Snickers Bud, who's equally trying to get the move done on Powersight. So it's as Powersight's trying to stick with Glorious Noodle. Glorious Noodle has now dropped out of DRS on Deputy Dilldog. Dilldog is going to be looking to chase down Clarence, as Delayed Laid decides to pit. Well, that is an interesting choice, as Clarence also pits, which was expected, as Delayed Laid has that 5-second penalty to serve, and goes onto the soft tyres. Should be able to get a fresh set of softs to the end, so that shouldn't be too big an issue. Clarence, interestingly, goes back onto another set of mediums. That seems like a very strange choice. I would have gone onto the softs had it been me, but I'm not racing. So, as Glorious Noodle also picks up a 3-second time penalty. Alright, so Snickers Bud, Power Sight, Glorious Noodle, Deputy Dilldog is now in P2. Can he take those medium tyres for another 11 laps? Can be done. It's going to be a push. I suspect that as Hold Up Man Down now picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Deputy Dilldog, no penalties. 3 lap younger medium tyres. As Power Sight's looking to get a move on Glorious Noodle, as Snickers Bud's trying to get a move on Power Sight, as Mike Wazowski's trying to get a move on Snickers Bud. So, will Hold Up Man Down pit? That is the question. He's just gone across the start finish line, so he's not pitting on this lap. He's going to keep going. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the gap between him and Dilldog does come down as Power Sight gets the move done on Glorious Noodle. As Snickers Bud is still there trying to get a move done on Glorious Noodle, who's trying to win his position back from Power Sight. As Snickers Bud looks to go up the inside as they go down the straight. He's going to get a double overtake done here. He does. He gets a double overtake done and is now running in P3. As Mike Wazowski and Glorious Noodle, teammates there fighting for track position. I'm not sure if Glorious Noodle's taken some damage. He's sort of dropped off the pace a bit there. Maybe his tyres were getting a bit hot, was unable to compete as he looks to go up the inside of his teammate again. There's no team orders down at Aston Martin in tonight's race, as they continue to battle each other through the corners. Obviously this battling between the two teammates is allowing the cars ahead to pull a gap. They really should have been working together to try and stay with the cars ahead, but I guess Glorious Noodle on those 11 lap old mediums versus Mike's 7 lap old hards. I guess the hard tyres are probably going to prove the more advantageous. It's delayed late on those soft tyres has already caught up to Clarence, as Power Sight picks up the penalty. So the penalties are starting to fly around thick and fast now, as delayed late can't quite get the overtake done on Clarence. Neither of them have got a lot of ERS. If delayed late can stay with Clarence here, I expect he will get the overtake done down this straight. It's a long enough straight to potentially get it done. Is he going to pull out and easily get that overtake done going into the corner? Obviously the benefit of having those soft tyres, and by now well and truly into the window, able to get so much more traction and speed, and will gap Clarence very quickly, I would imagine, and will set his sights on catching Glorious Noodle ahead. So let's have a look at these penalties. What have we got? So it's only 3-second penalties all round, which means as things stand, if Hold Up Man Dan holds out there and stays out on track, he's got more than a 3-second cushion to Dilldog. And Snickers Bud, obviously, Power Sight, Mike Wazowski, Glorious Noodle and Delay Late have all got 3-second penalties, so they're all just basically going to stay where they are when they finish. Other than, unless Clarence can stay with Delayed Late, and Delayed Late can't pull the 3-second gap. But 7 laps to go on those fresh soft tyres, I would fully expect Delayed Late to be able to pull that gap. So he's almost out to a second already, and possibly had actually got out of DRS, because it didn't look like Clarence had put DRS on there down the main straight, which seems a bit interesting. So there's not a lot of battling going out on track now. Everything's sort of gapped out. Deputy Dilldog's now within 3.5 seconds of Hold Up Man Dan. It's going to be interesting. Hold Up Man Dan can take these tyres to the end, and whether or not Dilldog can actually catch him up and get past. And I guess similarly with Snickers Bud, if they can both get past Hold Up Man Dan, we will have another McLaren 1-2 on our hands, which will be 2 in 2 weeks, which is pretty good effort from the McLaren boys. And I fully expect them to work together to get that outcome. As Delayed Late unfortunately has picked up another penalty, which is obviously going to impact him badly for the rest of the race, because now he's not really going to be able to gain too many positions. Any positions he gains is probably going to be lost when he comes across the finish line, as Glorious Noodle comes into the pits and decides to get rid of those medium tyres and go, I presume, onto some soft tyres. Yes, he does. Oh, and a wing change. So Glorious Noodle's taking some damage there somewhere around the track, but will likely come out ahead of Asher. Although it's going to be pretty close, as Asher's coming down the start-finish straight and has already gone past. So, but is ahead of F1 Boy. I don't think that hard medium strategy really worked out for F1 Boy in the way that he was hoping. Alright, so Mike Wazowski on those 10-lap-old hard tyres is still hanging on to the back of Powersight, who's on those 13-lap-old medium tyres. Hold Up Man Dan still pushing those medium tyres, but the boys behind him are gaining. And I fully suspect before the end of this race that Dilldog and Snickers Bud will catch and overtake Hold Up Man Dan. So I think as Mike Wazowski gets ahead of Powersight there and is up to P4, as Powersight's looking to come in and I assume abandon those medium tyres and chuck on a set of softs. So 1.9 seconds now the gap between Dilldog and Hold Up Man Dan, with Snickers Bud a further 2.4 seconds back. So I think Hold Up Man Dan could still take P3. That's going to depend a little bit on what Mike here is able to do as he picks up another penalty. So I suspect, unless the guys in front pick up more penalties, I suspect this is probably going to be our finishing positions for the race. So let's, for a little bit of a change, let's go and have a look what's happening with Glorious Noodle down here on those soft tyres, chasing down Asher. We'll probably get this overtake done relatively quickly, I would imagine, as they come onto the short little straight here. Has he got enough momentum? No. We'll just hold out until we get to the other side of the bridge and around the hairpin, and then have a crack down the back straight here. Is right on the tailpipe. We'll get the DRS wide open, push out as much DRS as he can. Is not close enough to be able to get the overtake done there, but he's going to try and fang one up the inside. Oh, and they've collided. Oh dear. Oh no. They have run into each other and they have both taken damage as they've hit the wall. As Parasite now looks to get an overtake done on Glorious Noodle. I fully expect that one to end up in the steward's room at the end of the race. It was hard to see what happened exactly, whether not enough space was given, whether maybe the walls just closed in a bit quicker than either of them thought they would as they were going through the corner. Hard to say. Guess we'll have to wait and see what happens from the point of views when they go to the steward's room. Alright, so Deputy Dilldog now within 1.3 seconds of Hold Up Man Dan. We can see him in his front view there. He's not far away. We've got four laps to run, and to be honest, Dilldog doesn't even need to get this done on track. He can get this done just by finishing behind, because Hold Up Man Dan's got that 3-second penalty. But Dilldog is within DRS now, as Snickers Bud's not really gaining on these guys at all. These guys seem to be the standout drivers. Now within half a second, I suspect that as we've Glorious Noodle has retired from the session. Looks like these guys are going to come up on it. It looks like he has binned it. Yes, he has. Coming onto the bridge. Might have just lost the back end and has put it into the wall. So 10 finishes is all we're going to have, folks, as Deputy Dilldog has DRS on Hold Up Man Dan. Neither of them carrying a lot of ERS, and I guess Deputy Dilldog will probably look to leave the overtake for as late as possible, as Delayed Lade has now overtaken Mike Wazowski and is up to P4. So let's have a look at these penalties again. So both Delayed Lade and Mike Wazowski have the same amount of penalties, so these two are kind of battling for position, but understanding that Clarence behind them will leap both of them into P4 at the end of the race as things stand. So Deputy Dilldog is now right on Snickers Bud's, on Hold Up Man's tail. Is he going to get the overtake done? He's going up the inside. He's going to get the overtake done well into the braking zone. So Deputy Dilldog gets the overtake done on track with 2 laps to run. Or two and a bit laps to run. We've only just started lap 29. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Deputy Dilldog can build a gap now to stop Hold Up Man Dan from gaining on him. So I think those 21 lap old medium tyres have probably seen better days. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Snickers Bud can also in the last couple of laps pull back those remaining 2 seconds to get, well, I guess what do we say, Snickers Bud's got 3 seconds worth of penalties. F1 boy picks up a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, which seems a bit odd because I didn't see any yellow flags. So that's a strange one. So Snickers Bud's only got 3 seconds worth of penalties. So if Snickers Bud can, on these last couple of laps, catch Hold Up Man Dan and get past him, we will have that McLaren 1-2. So can Snickers Bud catch Hold Up Man Dan on these last 2 laps and get the overtake done? He's going to have to put everything into it. He's going to have to expend everything he's got to try and do it. As Deputy Dildog has already managed to gain the advantage, 1.7 seconds. So we've got a bit about a lap and a half to go. Snickersbud's within 1.3 seconds. Really needs to get into that DRS zone before the end of this lap. Sorry, to have any hope of being able to catch and pass Hold Up Man Dan on the last lap, but he's just not able to get into that window. So I suspect this is how we're going to finish, folks. It's going to be a McLaren 1-3, not a McLaren 1-2, but that is certainly going to help them extend their advantage in the Constructors' Championship. And certainly for Deputy Dildog, this is going to extend his advantage in the Drivers' Championship by quite a bit. As F1 Boy goes into the pits, presumably to serve that 5-second penalty that he picked up. Whether he's going to try and go for the fastest lap on the last lap, he's going to have to get out there quick so that he's not lapped by these guys who are now on the last lap. Interestingly, he's gone onto the medium tyres. So Snickersbud is now within DRS of Hold Up Man Dan, or he was momentarily. He's dropped back out again. He'll want to get back in before the detection line. I'm not sure where that was. Did he get it? No, he did not get it. So realistically speaking, there's only really one more opportunity for Snickersbud to get an overtake done, which is really the straight after the hairpin. It's not a long enough straight, really. And he's going to have to get a little bit closer before they get there. He's going to need to be within sort of 3-4 tenths maximum as they go into that final straight. But I don't think he's going to be close enough. I don't think this is going to happen. Although he is quite close there. But I don't think he's going to have enough to get the overtake done. No, he's not going to get the overtake done. So I think we are going to see the 1-2-3 that we have, unless Hold Up Man makes a mistake on those worn tyres. Snickersbud, let's look to go up the inside as they go into... Oh, they've made contact! Oh, they've made contact! Oh, dear, oh dear. Well, I don't know whether that was the right place to be doing an overtake, but whether or not enough room was given... maybe another one that goes to the steward's room. So we will see as Deputy Dildog has come across the line and has won this race quite convincingly in the end, largely due to that coming together between Hold Up Man Dan and Snickersbud. So Hold Up Man Dan manages to hold on to P2 for now. Snickersbud in P3. Clarence P4. Stobie's managed to recover back to P5. Not the result that he was hoping for at the start of this race. Not with that qualifying performance. So he'll be quite disappointed, I think, with the way this race has unfolded. Mike Wazowski in P6 there. And Delayed, Power Sight, Asher, and F1 Boy. Alright, looks like we've got... Deputy Dildog has joined the party, so I will open up. Are you there, Dildog?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good.
So that was, I guess, a reasonable recovery. I think you had an issue early on, from memory, and you had to fight your way back through the pack.
Yeah, I think lap 2, I think I ran wide and hit the wall. Only a bit of minor damage, but thought I'd go straight in and replace the wing. And then it was looking pretty good from there until I think Stobie got lucky with a safety car just before he wanted to pit.
Yep.
Um, and I was umming and ahhing whether to stay out and decided to go in, and then for some reason Snickers I think glitched in the box. Just sat there for a few seconds and eventually teleported out of the box, so I lost a few seconds there.
Yeah, it's frustrating when the game glitches like that, and you're doing the best you possibly can, and then the game screws you over a little bit. So you were chasing down the Hold Up Man Dan there at the end. He really tried to get those medium tyres right through to the end of the race. I think I guess your fresher medium tyres told the difference in the end, and you were able to catch him, and once you got past him, you managed to pull a reasonable gap fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think even though I was held up at the last pit stop, it ended up working out with fresher tyres at the end. And we're just slowly rolling him in.
So I guess it's another 25 points to add to your tally to increase your lead in the Drivers' Championship. And I guess for the team championship as well for McLaren, obviously a 1-2 would have been better. Snickers Bud couldn't quite get it done there in the end, but still good points for the team overall today.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, well we've got Hold Up Man Dan here as well, so look, good luck for next week. I'm not sure where we are next week, but I think we're in the USA next week. So good luck for next week, and if you manage to get another good result in, we'll probably chat to you then.
Hopefully.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
Hold Up Man Dan, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, beautiful. I got the headset on, so it should be a bit better than last week.
Lovely.
Or the week before.
Yep, brilliant. So you tried to push those medium tyres right to the end, and
yeah, they were sitting on 73% at the end, so it was a bit of a line ball there. But and I was very slow.
Yes, yeah. I was sort of commenting that I thought probably gone too long, and that it was probably gonna let you down at the end. But I guess you still managed to hold on to P2 at the end there. I know that got a little bit tight there with Snickers Bud as you were coming under the bridge. Things got a little bit tight there.
I thought it was a bit optimistic. I'm not sure if he had the overlap before we went into the corner, but I gave room anyway. But I usually lose out on these sort of incidents, so we'll just have to see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean it was. I'd have to go back and look at the stream. It was pretty close. I don't know whether or not whether overlap was there or not, but I guess we'll have to probably see whether or not anything goes into the stewards' room for that one. But otherwise, I guess you managed to hold on to second place in the end, and I guess that's well done, all things considered.
Yeah, well, I've got a fourth, a third, and hopefully a second in the last 3 weeks. And considering the first, I think 6 weeks there where I didn't get in the top 10,
Yeah.
So it's I'm getting better.
Yeah, I guess that's as the season goes on. You start to improve your racecraft. You start to develop things a little bit better. And I guess a solid points gain today will help you lift yourself a little bit further up the drivers' standings, particularly considering that you finished ahead of most of the cars ahead of you. You'll sort of gain on those guys, which will obviously be good.
Yeah, it's much more competitive, this Tier 3 this year. I can't remember what tier I was in last season, but or the season before, but it just seems a lot more competitive now. So also a little bit rough at the back end, and I think that's in those first 6 weeks you sort of, you're getting taken, well, not taken out, but you know what I mean, a little bit
Yep.
rough in the back. So just really important, I think I've learned in the last 3 weeks, to make sure you're up the front end as much as possible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you tend to get to the end of the race too.
Yes. Yeah. I think that a lot of the time in these races, it's finishing is first priority, and then finishing as high
Yeah,
as you
that's
can is
right.
second priority.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well done again on P2. Like I said, holding out on those medium tires was brave. I wasn't sure whether or not you were going to be able to hang on, but at least you managed to hang on to P2. So well done for that, and good luck for next week, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, thanks very much, and thanks for commentating again, and thanks for the organisers for organising it again. It's great fun, and I love your commentary, because I sit there and listen to it, and it does give me some insights myself. So it's very good.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the feedback. I do appreciate that. All right. Well, we'll catch you next week. I don't know that Snickers Bud joined us, unfortunately. So I guess he's probably not going to be here for a chat. So we'll probably call that an end for the night. So we'll see you all again next week at the USA. Have a good night.
Thanks very much, mate. My favourite track next week, so should be
Awesome.
another podium.
Awesome. Well, good luck, and I look forward to watching. Always interesting race, USA.
Yeah, it is. It's a good track.
All right.
Thanks very much.
No worries. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for everybody who's watched tonight, or anybody who's watching the stream later.